Welcome. My name is Andrzej Stuczyński, representing NAWA, Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange. I will have pleasure to be a moderator of today's webinar. Now, let me invite Director General of NAWA, Grażyna Żebrowska, PhD, to take the floor.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Grażyna Żebrowska. Yes, I am a new director of NAWA, Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange. NAWA is a governmental agency established in 2017 to support international mobility of students, academicians, and researchers. NAWA supports the process of internationalization of Polish universities and research institutions. We promote Polish science, higher education, and Polish language. The last few years, we observe increase of interest of young Indonesians to study in Poland. I would like to share with you a few interesting facts. Since 2014, the number of Indonesian students at Polish higher education institutions increased 10 times. Among them, 1/3 are NAWA scholarship holders. Universitas Indonesia and Universitas Katolik Atma Jaya joined NAWA Teachers Program, and currently both are running Polish language classes. This year, 3 young people from your country become awardees of our Digital Ambassadors project. You will have a pleasure to meet them today. I wish you a successful session and encourage you to contact with us on all issues connected with study in Poland. All the best.
Thank you, madam. Now let's move to Jakarta. I would like to request Ambassador of Poland to Indonesia, Her Excellency Beata Stuczyńska, to open the event.
Thank you very much, Andrzej. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome all participants of this very interesting initiative, web seminar on education. First of all, I would like to thank NAWA for this initiative. Polish Embassy is more than happy to join this web seminar. My colleague from the Embassy, Michał Węglarz, will present a lecture about Poland. Yes, I have to agree with Madame Żebrowska, Director General, that the education exchange becomes more and more important in our policy towards Indonesia. Actually, in our foreign policy here, what we are doing here, the education exchange is absolutely priority. We noticed increasing number of the students, Indonesian students in Poland, and we see a lot of potential in the education sector. Every year I visit a lot of universities around Indonesia. Last year I visited Indonesian universities in Surabaya, Malang, Lombok, of course East Java, West Java, Central Java. So we are traveling, and now our embassy is doing a program so-called Knowing Poland. And via internet, we are delivering lectures about Poland and study in Poland. So I'm very glad that we start this web seminar, and I wish all participants great success, and I wish all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. May I request now Ambassador of Indonesia to Poland, Her Excellency Siti Nugraha Mauludiah, to share her remarks.
Thank you very much, Andre. Her Excellency, Ambassador Beata, how are you? Dr. Żebrowska, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to thank the government of Poland for providing this scholarship for Indonesian students. We've met a lot of Indonesian students who were awardee of this scholarship. All of them were happy. And so really thankful for that. I know that there has been some improvements of the program since the beginning. And we noticed that NAWA always takes really special attention and addressing all the issues that were raised by the students, by the awardees. So I hope NAWA could evolve better and better over time, this what has been done from the very beginning. And we also hoping that NAWA could also make sure ensure that all the awardees get the university that according to their interests, so that all will be fulfill their expectation. And if I may, I would like to speak Indonesia to all the participants of the webinar. Adik-adik sekalian, anak-anak saya tercinta, saya sangat berharap kesempatan ini bisa dimanfaatkan sebaik-baiknya oleh adik-adik semua. Ini kesempatan yang sangat bagus. Saya sebutkan, saya banyak bertemu dengan mahasiswa penerima beasiswa ini, dan salah satunya nanti akan jadi berbicara Jeffrey, ya, yang ada di Warsaw. Saya komunikasi dekat dengan Jeffrey, dan pokoknya dari catatan selama ini beasiswanya ini sangat baik, dan saya berharap adik-adik sekalian memanfaatkan ini untuk mengambil jurusan yang tidak ada di Indonesia, terutama di bidang ICT, Information Communication Technology. Di Poland ini sangat maju dan terkenal di sini untuk masalah ICT-nya. Tetapi tentu saja untuk bidang lainnya juga terbuka lebar. Hanya titip semoga bisa dimanfaatkan untuk membawa pembelajaran bagi masyarakat Indonesia yang lebih luas untuk di bidang-bidang yang belum tersedia di Indonesia. Mungkin itu saja. Sekali lagi terima kasih. Manfaatkan sebaik-baiknya. Thank you very much, Andre. Thank you very much, Ambassador. And hope to see you in person soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much to all our honorable speakers. I just wanted to emphasize that even though I do not speak Indonesian, the word beasiswa I was able to understand, and we will be talking about that. So thank you very much, Madam Ambassador. And now we are moving to the next part of event. Representing Polish Embassy in Jakarta, Mr. Michał Węglarz will present key facts on Poland and our bilateral relations with Indonesia. Mr. Węglarz, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrzej. We will be talking soon about studying in Poland, about the different majors that you will be offered and scholarships. But before that, you might want to have a few informations about our country. So if you bear with me for 10 minutes, I will try to share with you as much as possible. I will talk first about geography of our country, then a little bit about history, relations with Indonesia. I will mention some famous people from Poland and culture, just to give you a general idea about our country. And at the end, something that might interest you was the situation right now in Poland regarding COVID and what's the visa procedure to come to our country and study there. So our country, Poland, is located in Central and Eastern Europe. It neighbors various EU countries. With the visa to Poland, you can travel freely around the Schengen zone. The borders to many other European countries are already opened. The border to Indonesia will be open very soon, we hope. As you can see on this map, Poland neighbors the sea, which allowed us to develop a maritime economy, which is one of the main areas of cooperation with Indonesia. We have a very varied geography. There are mountains in the south that you can visit. There are forests, there are many national parks that could be of interest for you, and there are also many old cities that you might want to study in and visit during your studies. One of them is Cracow, our old capital, a city that has been our capital until the 17th century, located in the south of the country. It still boasts many monuments, including the wonderful Royal Castle and the salt mine that is one of the main UNESCO heritage sites in our country. Nearby, you can travel to high mountains called Tatras and visit National Park there. Or at the other end of our country, you can see Gdańsk, the main port city neighboring the sea. and also the center of amber trade. Those of you that are interested in maritime studies can also study at a local maritime university. Very close to Gdańsk, there is a main, not very well known, but very important and wonderful main medieval brick castle called Marburg. That's a very, very short snapshot of what you can see in Poland. And one of the reasons to study in Poland might be also history. We know that not every Indonesian is interested in history, and we understand that, but those of you who are will find the history of Poland fascinating. Why? Because it's a very dramatic history. That's a history of a country that has been very powerful from Middle Ages until the 16th century, which became our golden age. But no golden age lasts forever. We were very powerful. We were boasting the biggest territory in Europe, including many countries nowadays independent: Ukraine, Belarus, and Lithuania, until we slid into anarchy and our territory was divided by our neighbors, and Poland was erased totally from the map of Europe for 123 years. This story has a happy end because with the First World War, we regained our independence. Poland raised from the ashes, and we could recreate our country, but not for long, because at the end of Second World War, we lost our independence again. But that story also has a happy end because after removing the Soviet-imposed regime, in 1989, we regained full independence, democracy, and then we started our march for economic and international prosperity. We joined the European Union, we joined NATO, and our economy started to grow. That might be quite interesting for you, because if you decide to study in Poland, you would like to study in a country that has good economic perspectives, because you might one day consider working in that country. So Poland has quadrupled our economy since 1990, which means that we are 4 times as rich as 30 years ago. And our economy keeps growing, with a small exception of the COVID-19 time, but we will recover very quickly because our economy is able to stave off recession quite well. Just a word or two about relations with Indonesia. These relations started in 1955, which means that this year we are celebrating 65th anniversary. Since then, 3 Indonesian presidents visited Poland, and our relations are visibly speeding up in recent years. Throughout these ages of Polish history, we were boasting a few important figures of science and culture. These are 3 of them. Nicholas Copernicus, that you can see here, was a 16th century astronomer who came up with the heliocentric theory. He proved for the first time that the Earth revolves around the sun and not the sun around the Earth, as many people thought at his time. You can also see here Maria Skłodowska-Curie, probably the most important female scientist of all time, who got 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry and physics, and who is a lasting example for all the female scientists around the world. You can also see here Frédéric Chopin, world-famous composer, piano composer. Those of you who like classic music, you can know his works already, and once you are in Poland, you can trace his heritage and the heritage of other main Poles. Jumping to the modern times, you might also heard of the gentleman on the left. His name is Robert Lewandowski, a famous Polish football player, striker, and his younger colleague on the right, his name is Egi Muljana Wikri, Indonesian, very talented player who plays right now in Gdańsk and develops his talent there. Right. Our economy, the big part of our economy is a creative economy. A famous example is The Witcher, which you might have already seen in Netflix. This TV series is based on a prominent computer game produced by a Polish company, also called The Witcher, and that in turn was based on a novel authored by the gentleman on the left, Mr. Sapkowski, a fantasy novel that you can grab wherever you are if you're interested in fantasy. But if you're interested in game development, you can also find relevant studies in Poland. For everybody, but especially for Indonesians, cuisine is also very important. So here are some dishes that you might come by when you are in Poland, with the most prominent one called pierogi, which is basically a vegetarian dish. It's also important to underline that halal food is widely possible to come by in Poland, and different world cuisines are also available. So if you're already convinced to come to Poland, just to let you know that borders between Poland and other European countries are already open. We expect that the borders of the European Union will be open by early July, maybe later. It's still subject to confirmation. And around that time, we will start accepting visa applications. The academic year in Poland starts in October, so you have still plenty of time for applying. In order to get visa, you will need a letter of acceptance from your university in Poland. You need to check on the website of the university what are the acceptance criteria. Once you're accepted, you would need to submit your diploma, which needs to be legalized. If you study bachelor, you need to have a legalized diploma from a high school in Indonesia. If you study master, S2, you would need to legalize your bachelor diploma from Indonesia. How do you legalize? It's very easy to find this information. You need to have 3 stamps, first from Ministry of Law and Human Rights in Indonesia, then Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia, Kemlu, and finally you will get the 3rd stamp to legalize your diploma in the Embassy of Poland. Other relevant documents that you need to use to apply for visa, you can find on our website in the consular information section. I encourage you also to follow our social media, our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more information about our culture and events that we organize. Now, for more information about studying in Poland, over to Mr. Andrzej. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive presentation. I could see that in the time that you were talking, we had some comments also in Polish and about our history. So I'm glad to know that many of you has already good knowledge on our history, on our realities. And now let me move to the part that is, well, mostly on higher education system and scholarship opportunities. So first, a few words about Polish higher education system. First, we have very long tradition of academic life. Our Jagiellonian University is one of the oldest in the world, established 1364. And starting from that moment, Polish scientists were very active members of the European scientific community. And very quickly moving to modernity. Currently, we have 15 universities in the QS World University rating. We have very modern infrastructure. From at least a decade, we could see huge investments in things like labs, research facilities, new computers and nets, also things that are relevant for students like new dormitories, and so on and so forth. Thanks to the joint engagement of Polish universities, our government, and also in some extent to European funds, those investments were really impressive. The important thing is that we take care of quality assurance. There is an institution that is called Polish Accreditation Committee that makes sure that faculties continue their work on a constant high level. Now, a short look on a higher education system and structure. As you can see, we have this division of bachelor studies, which is usually 3 years. In some cases, it's 3.5, mostly in the engineering faculties, and the master studies, which is usually 2 years. However, on some faculties, especially medicine and law, we have continuous 5.5, or in case of medicine, 6 years, long cycle master studies. That means, in most cases, that if you have completed your bachelor studies in Indonesia, it's pretty easy to continue at masters in Poland. However, in case of students of medicine or law faculty, it would be much more difficult to join us because of that long cycle. And about PhD, we have some very interesting offer on which I will be talking on the next slide. The thing that is probably most relevant is offer of our scholarships. We have several of them. Some of you probably already noticed that it's already one scholarship from your government, but let's leave it for the last part. Let's start with NAWA scholarship that is called Łukasiewicz program. This is mostly for master students in areas like engineering, IT, life sciences, agriculture, and related. Details can be found on our website. I will share a link with you in a moment. The main advantages of studying on Łukasiewicz is that you study, number one, for free, number two, with a monthly allowance. That is approximately $400. Scholarship take usually 3 years. You may be confused because I said that master studies usually take 2 years. Everything is correct. The first year, in the case of Łukasiewicz, is preparatory course of Polish language. And during that time, you also have monthly allowance every month. Important thing, of course, Polish language is pretty difficult to learn, but if you decide that you would like to skip that point, you can still study on Łukasiewicz in English. This is a new option that we have introduced last year. Another option is UNESCO Poland co-sponsored fellowship program Engineering. This is organized at AGH University of Science and Technology in Cracow, one of best technology universities in Poland. And financial conditions here are similar to that we offer. So tuition-free monthly allowance. They also fund return ticket and insurance. The difference is that this is program of short-term mobility for 6 months. In case we have master students here, or prospective master students, and I'm sure we have many of them, we have a very interesting proposal to pursue your PhD in Poland. On a governmental level, basing on the Bill of Higher Education, we provide tuition-free and studies and plus scholarship that is pretty high, ranging from $600 to $930. The only trick to get this scholarship is to pass the entry exam, and to find the criteria, you would need to check a website of the given university. Where to find list of universities in Poland, I will be talking about this shortly. Another interesting option that we can offer are individual scholarships or tuition-free studies. In Poland, higher education institutions are very autonomous and can decide by themselves on what kind of scholarships they can award. Of course, our universities work closely with NAWA, so you can have NAWA scholarship, Łukasiewicz, on one of the Polish universities. However, many of them have additional offer. There are organizations representing particular cities, for example, Study in Lublin, that offer a range of scholarships representing several universities that are based in the city. For example, in Lublin, there are 9 universities, and that organization is gathering offer of all of them. To learn more about details, the best way to proceed is to directly contact, preferably by email, with such organizations or given universities. And the last option, Beasiswa NTB, that is for people from Indonesia coming from a province West Nusa Tenggara. Of course, you will have much better knowledge on this, being Indonesians. The thing that I wanted to emphasize is that around 1/4 of Indonesian students in Poland right now are scholarship holders of that one exactly. So I highly recommend to check their offer as well. Details of the programs that I was just talking about are on the websites that you can see, links to which you can see here. Since you have registered with your emails, we will be sending presentations to you together with the link after the webinar. If you would like to learn more about the details of our offer, what NAWA, what Polish universities can offer to you, I would like to recommend our publications. Study in Poland, that you can see in top left corner, is a kind of general introduction to our offer. However, with many relevant details, like the one that you can see on the right side of the screen, living cost. Of course, some things can be more expensive. However, some things might be less expensive that you can see here. It's mostly depends on the city in which you would be living. So practical things like living costs, like admission procedures, like visa procedures, and so on, can be found in our brochure, Studying in Poland. If your area of interest is already very clear and you know that you would like to be a student of technology faculties or studying medicine or economics, thanks to Jeffrey, that will be next speaker, I know that there is pretty high interest in universities of economics in Poland. I would like to highly recommend our brochures that are a source of detailed knowledge of all universities in a given sector. For example, in medical universities in Poland, you could read about 16 universities, 16 medical universities that we have, with admission criteria, with tuition fees, and so on and so forth. Also, very practical tool that you may be interested in is Study Finder. The tool, like all other materials, is available on our webpage www.gopoland.pl, and it works in a very easy way. It's browser, so after typing what sector of science is interesting for you, and is it master or bachelor or PhD studies, and just clicking go, you would see a list of all universities offering given faculty in Poland. And now I would like to briefly present to you our digital ambassadors, people that my Director General already has mentioned, members, awardees of the project that we are running from the start of this year. They are already, in case of Zumaro, who you can see here, alumni or students at our universities, very active in social media, presenting different aspects of life in Poland, some issues like very practical things, maybe to not double my presentation with what Jeffrey will be speaking. I will just show you the slides and mention one important thing. As you can see, they have our official web email addresses. So in case you would have any questions, also in your language, you could ask them directly. Yolanda is student of life sciences in Poznań. So we have people from Indonesia in many different cities, some of them in Poznań, some of them in Warsaw, that is capital, and in other cities as well. And Jeffrey, here you can see on the screen with his Uwaga Uwaga YouTube channel that I encourage you to check. He will be next speaker, and I want to thank you very much for your attention. And now, Jeffrey, to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So let's start this session with me. So I will talk mainly about studying in Poland, but mostly on the practical way. So let's start. Short brief about myself. My name is Jeffrey Hanafi. I am a robotics master student at Warsaw University of Technology, here people know it as Politechnika Warszawska. I have started my master program in 2019 and expected to be graduated at 2021. So by now, I'm also have a responsibility as a NAWA digital ambassador, as already mentioned before. And at the same time, I'm also doing my internship at Procter & Gamble with a responsibility as a developer at digital innovation and robot process automation. So let's start my session with a question to all of you. You can start to ask yourself, why do I need to choose Poland? So you will live in Europe since Poland is also a member in European Union already, so you could travel all around the European Union area, or it's also in a Schengen area. You can go to Italy, you can go to France, you can enjoy the winter in Salzburg in Austria, and you can also travel around the Poland itself, which is based on my experience. It's super beautiful. I have visited many places in Poland, and it's always wonderful. The next reason is living cost in Poland is more or less the same as Jakarta. As you can see here at this point, groceries prices based on the source from numbeo.com is cheaper than Jakarta, around almost 25%. So if you will be a student here, you can go to buy your groceries with a cheaper price than in Jakarta. However, the price of restaurant in Poland in average is 50% or 1.5 times higher than Jakarta. But for the record, as if you are going to be an international student, going outside to eat outside every day is not our lifestyle. So trust me, you will start yourself by doing some cooking, and you will mastering your cooking skill. The next reason is Poland economy is growing continuously. It's already mentioned before, and you can see from this graph, start from 2010 and to 2018, you can see from the graph, the bar is growing continuously. It means that if you want to go and start your professional experience here in Poland, it's very possible. You will find a lot of opportunity by doing an intern, or even to start the permanent job in the local company or even international company here in Poland. The next reason, yes, as I've mentioned before, you can study and work at the same time. Fun fact, here in Poland, it's very common to study and work at the same time. For example, I have a roommate. He is originally from Poland, He's starting his first semester in the same university as mine, and during his first semester, he already started to study and work at the same time. It's quite different with the culture in Indonesia, though. And next, I did my bachelor before in Indonesia, and now I'm pursuing my master here in Poland. And now we compare the student's life in Indonesia versus student life in Poland. The first one, as I have mentioned before, you will be able to cook. Let's talk about the COVID situation right now. I could ask to all of you, how many of you already figure out that you have a skill in cooking? Yeah. If you go abroad, become a student, trust me, you will have skill to cook at least, because yeah, it's always like a common situation for everyone, like all of Indonesian students. During the first time, they didn't have any skill to cook, but now they are very good at cooking. And the second part is you will have a healthier lifestyle, because I also surprised at the first time that Polish people are very concerned about their healthy lifestyle. So they love to do some exercises. They continuously go to the gym. And for example, here in Warsaw, you can find a public rent bicycle all around the city that you can take it for free for every 20 minutes. And if you go further, the price is very affordable. And based on my experience, I could walk around 5 kilos every day, which I never did in Indonesia before. And the third point, you have a new family. By become an international student, you will find a lot of new people, and you will have a good connection between one and others, which will allow you to make a new relationship and become a new family. And the last part is get a chance to work abroad. So if you really need help, if you are afraid that, I don't have any relatives there, I don't have any family there, I'm afraid, what should I do if I have something, if you will have some issues while studying in Poland. So don't worry, we have organization, maybe it's very popular, the PPI, Perhimpunan Pelajar Indonesia, and we have it also here in Poland called PPI Polandia. This is the student organization from Indonesia. So don't worry, we are here to assist you, to provide you a lot of information, to be there with you, so we can meet and share together all the time. And on the other hand, if you have a real issue regarding about the legal status or many other things, I believe Indonesian Embassy as well here in Warsaw is more than welcome to help you with any issues that you will have. So I'm really welcoming you to come to Poland and can wait to see you here in Poland. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to directly connect with me to Facebook, email, LinkedIn, Instagram, or even just drop a comment in my YouTube channel. I share my life or my perspective, and also the detail of the scholarship, especially with the Ignacio Krasiewicz scholarship at my YouTube channel. So thank you very much for your attention. Looking forward to see you guys in Poland.
Much, Jeffrey. Now, I think that we may ask Mr. Benglash and Jeffrey you to join, to turn your cameras, and we will be asking questions, some of the questions from the chat. If you would allow me, I would start first with questions on studying in Polish or English that I could times. So to be very precise, number one, knowledge of Polish is not mandatory at all to study here. We have more than 800 faculties that are run in English. I've copied at one moment full list of them in the chat, so you can see this on our webpage, Go Poland. That's number one. This is also applicable in case of PhD students. So our doctoral schools offer programs in both Polish and English. However, Jeffrey, maybe you would like to add something to this. But even though learning Polish is difficult, it would give you additional edge. Polish people just love hearing foreigners speak our language, but except from emotional aspect, well, this is really your asset in your future career. So decision is absolutely on your side. The best thing is that you have two possible options. And now perhaps I would like to request Mr. Węglarz to take questions on main sectors of our economy, and I could see several questions on visas.
Right, so our economy, as I said, is developing very quickly. The main sectors of our economy is industrial production, and there are also the sectors of growing development of cooperation between Poland and Indonesia. We see as a priority areas maritime economy, education, and other parts of industrial production. We are eyeing joint cooperation on e-mobility, for instance. And I hope that many of you will contribute to that. As for visas, I saw a couple of questions about visas here. Somebody's saying that Polish embassy is not accepting visas. That's true. We are not accepting visas because, you might know, the COVID-19 situation. But as soon as the EU borders are opened, and we expect that might happen in July, we will start accepting visas. And only then the website for registering for visa applications called e-consulate, only then it will be open, right? And there are a couple of documents that you need to submit in order to apply for visa. It would be a bit lengthy for me to say them now. For sure, there should be a ticket, plane ticket, or at least plane ticket reservation. There should be insurance, and there should be admission letter from your university. They're all listed at our website in a consular information section, both in English and in Bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, so what kind of visa do I apply for? You apply for national visa. That's a one-year visa that will allow you to study in Poland. As soon as you are in Poland, you should apply for a residence permit. And we encourage you to apply as soon as possible. Your university should help you with that. The procedure for granting a residence permit is a bit lengthy, so it's better to start as soon as you arrive in Poland. But the visa validity is 1 year. It's called national visa. Right.
Thank you very much. Jeffrey, may I now request you to address two questions? One was on the one greatest challenge that Indonesian is facing after moving to Poland, and another, we had some questions about COVID. So how Poland was dealing about that. Actually, our colleague Yolanda has even made video on 2 months of quarantine in Poland. So later on, you may find it on our YouTube channel. But now, Jeffrey, how do you see this?
Okay, for the first question, maybe the greatest challenge that I had before, maybe because of the weather, because in Indonesia, the weather compared to Poland is super different. Yeah, the winter was killing me at the first time, but right after 1 week, you will start to love the winter because it's a new experience and you will love it for sure. We don't have any snow in Indonesia, so yeah, trust me, you will love it. And despite of it, maybe in Indonesia nowadays, it's very common to go and buy food every day by using Gojek or GrabFood or anything, something like that. Maybe you don't know about it, Andre, but yeah, maybe here it's kind of like Uber Eats. It's very common in Indonesia, but especially for students because it's very affordable. But here in Poland, you need to start at least to learn how to cook and prepare some Indonesian food because Indonesian food here is not very common and normally the price is not very affordable because in the level of the restaurant. So yeah, that was the greatest challenge for me. And about the COVID situation, this semester we started to study from home. So everything conducted by online session, also the exam. However, started from last week, I heard from my friends, they already started to go back to the laboratory to conduct some research in a practical way. So yeah, I think we are moving forward to go back to university as soon as possible. Maybe for next semester, we will go back to university already.
Yes, Mas Jeffrey, just to add a little bit to your information about food, maybe our participants should know that there are at least 2 Indonesian restaurants in Warsaw.
Yep.
And in some shops you can buy Indomie.
I think we'll exceeded little our time, but if you don't mind, I will touch two more issues that has appeared in the chat very briefly. One question was about that it's NAWA scholarship open not only for Indonesians. Of course, it is open for people from all around the world. We have several scholarships for students. And Ignacy's scholarship is for students, or Łukasiewicz scholarship is for people from all Asia and the other areas of the world as well. So you will surely have interactions with other international students, but also with the Polish students as well, which is, of course, I believe, the important thing. Additional thing, if you decide to study in Polish, of course, Polish language will make it easier to contact with your colleagues that are of Polish nationality. And a very important thing about exchange in 2021, despite the current situation, I understand that Sophia had meant the COVID. We are closely following the developments with the pandemic. And of course, we're well aware of what is going on. We try to react in advance to prepare our programs in the best way that mobility can continue. So we haven't stopped our programs. In worst case, in some worst cases, we postponed some of them. However, for Łukasiewicz scholarship process of admission is going on. Also, as regards to the other scholarships that I have mentioned, the process is not only continuing, but I know that we may expect even new calls in July, perhaps, or in September. So please follow websites that I was mentioning. And here, perhaps I would stop because we're really out of time. So let me just thank you very much to express my deep gratitude to all our speakers, to engagement of the Embassy of Jakarta. Talking to Mr. Venglash, I thought that and I'm still thinking that he has better knowledge than me on higher education. He's real expert, not only on visas, but on higher education. And you know,
but if if I may add just 2 words, I saw there were also many questions regarding higher education about scholarships. Obviously, everybody is interested in scholarships, but there were many people interested in scholarships in humanities. So maybe here I will just draw your attention to other scholarships, except for NAWA Łukasiewicz program that Mr. Andrzej mentioned. You need to do your research. There are some scholarships also for humanities available in certain cities and in certain universities. But even if you don't get a scholarship, that's an important point. Even if you don't get a scholarship, the tuition fee is quite low in Poland and living costs are quite low. So in the end, you will end up paying much less than in many Western European countries.
Thank you very much for adding this. And also, if it's about questions, please remember that you can ask your questions, share it with us anytime. As you could see in my presentation, I have mentioned our email address. You have email addresses of our digital ambassadors coming from Indonesia. So those questions that were not able to attend now, we will answer it after the webinar. And again, thank you very much. I encourage you to do your research, to check our website and the other website that was recommended. And please feel invited to Poland. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.